Hey guys, welcome back to day 5 through 8 of my Inktober story, and let's see what Evelyn and Amos are getting up to.
"What have you done?" Amos shouted, holding his wife in his arms. Finnegan still stood by his master, waiting for his command to attack, his teeth bared. Licinius smiled. Evelyn began shrinking, her black hair becoming rigid. Her whole face was changing, her arms bent up, and her legs, they were growing scales. Soon she was no longer Evelyn as Amos knew her. Instead, a chicken stood in her place. Amos looked with horror at the bird, or rather his dear wife. "Change her back!" he shouted. But when he looked back up, Licinius was gone, without a trace. "After her, Finnegan, go!" But the hound was intent on another target. "Finn, no!" Finnegan was stalking the unsuspecting Evelyn, tail wagging stiffly. He even licked his chops. Amos scrambled to scoop Evelyn into his arms, and she squawked in protest. "Sorry, honey." "Finn, no! Bad!" Amos guarded his wife from his wayward hound. "Finn, this is Evelyn. Evelyn! She's the chicken!" "Oh my gosh, my wife's a chicken." Finnegan was still looking at Evelyn, nearly drooling. Amos whapped his nose. "No! Evelyn, Finn! This is Evelyn!" Amos dragged a hand across his forehead. "My wife's been turned into a chicken. My wife is a chicken. I gotta fix this. How can I fix this, Evelyn? How do I fix this?" The chicken merely blinked at him. Amos paced the floor. Thankfully, the whap on Finn's nose set him straight, and the dog sat by Evelyn the chicken without so much as a glance. Amos thought long and hard. "Evelyn would know how to fix this," he said. "Evelyn would indeed know how to fix this. She read so many books. Amos was sure she would know how to fix anything. That's it! Her books!" Amos rushed to the bookshelf and searched the titles. Evelyn's extensive collection was also extensively organized by category and alphabet. Amos pulled anything on chickens, magic, witches, and spells. As Evelyn and Finnegan looked on, Amos exhausted his resources. The book on chickens didn't say anything about being turned into one, but it did give a lot of useful information on how to take care of Evelyn until he could turn her back. The magic book seemed a little too technical to be helpful. They were more about how to do magic and its history than about turning people into chickens. The books on witches seemed to be the same, all history and no practicality. However, just as Amos was about to set one aside, a biographical album of historically terrible witches, he saw Licinia's name on the page. "Listen to this, Finn," Amos told his dog. "Do not anger this witch. We hadn't a chance, my boy. Oh, she was already mad." "Oh, dear, dear, dear Finn. I hope this book can tell us how to fix this." Amos picked up the first spell book Evelyn had. He remembered her telling him when the bookstore got the whole batch of spell books. She was so interested because of their illustrations. They were beautifully illustrated. Amos came upon a page, lightning racing across the title. "Transformation Spell," Amos read. "Upon completion of this spell, one object will become another, to be performed on both animate and inanimate." "Think that could be it, Evelyn?" The chicken blinked at him before pecking at the ground. Amos read over the transformation spell in its description. "Well, it says here that only very powerful witches can cast this. That means it's very hard to reverse." Finnegan looked dejected as he lay by Amos's feet. Evelyn seemed not to mind. "But Amos rallied. You can reverse it. We just need the heart of a star. A heart of a star, that's all. Well, don't look at me like that, Finn. I don't know where you'd get the heart of a star. I bet Evelyn would. Evelyn was pecking away at one of the books Amos had piled on the ground. Hey, careful! Those are your books, dear. Amos carefully shooed her away. The book she had been pecking at was a book on astronomical events. While the cover did sustain some damage, Amos marveled at his wife's good work. This has got to have something about falling stars. Amos began searching through the pages. Comets, planet sightings, shooting stars, Amos read on. Finn, this says the next shooting star is happening tonight. Amos rushed outside and looked up to the sky. Up there, see it, Finn? It's headed for Gottagoghdraw. That's where we have to go. The star was falling, careening nearly, straight for the capital city, its trail behind it winding like a ribbon of spectacular light. It would make landfall that very night. Amos had to go after it. I hope you guys are enjoying this story as much as I am, and I hope you guys tune back in on day 13 should be the next installment of Amos and Evelyn's story, and I hope you guys want to know what happens next.
If you would like to see more of my videos and more from me, I would really appreciate a like and subscribe. It really helps.